In this video, we're going to connect up the indicator direction light. Alright, so the issue is that the way that this can be connected up is there's only one light that flashes to indicate that the indicators are on no matter which direction you turn. I want to connect this up so I can have that as the left and that as the right indicator warning. I believe you're meant to use that for the indicator flasher and then that one for the handbrake warning light, something like that, but it'd be more useful to have them as directional because that's how I've got them set up in the Mini. So let's have a look at how we need to do this. Okay, so I've got two diagrams here. So this is the current situation. From the P terminal on the flasher can, it goes directly to the warning light, the single warning light, which is in the console, and then obviously it gets grounded when it's connected. The alternative way to, and this wiring diagram is from one of the manuals, and I've just drawn that part of the diagram because then it will make more sense. What will happen is directly from that P point, you will have a wire going to the two individual lamps, and then on the other side of that lamp, so it doesn't get grounded, it gets connected to the actual light circuit. Okay, so let's talk about how we're actually going to do this. Now, the type of bulb which is on this bulb holder, it gets grounded when it gets connected to the actual speedometer unit. So the metal on the speedometer unit is grounded. Now the issue in this setup here, neither of them are actually grounded. They're put in series. Those bulbs go in series. So if you were to use a bulb holder like this with just one wire coming on and then obviously the other terminal is grounded, this type of connection or bulb holder will not work for that situation. What you need to do is get yourself a couple of the bulb holders which have two wires coming off them. So these, even though that outer edge is metal, I believe on the newer versions they're plastic, but that bulb inside is insulated. So this metal connector here is not connected to the actual section that the bulb screws into. So by installing that into the speedometer unit, you're not grounding the bulb. So it's got two terminals going to that particular bulb. So what I've got here, I've used these two old bulbs, and the wire coming out of the bottom, I've got that joined here. I've just put some heat shrink on there, soldered them cables together, and then I've just got that wire continuing. What will actually happen is this end of the wire, because I don't want to cut up the existing wiring harness, I'm just going to splice that in. I'll just use some splice connectors like this, and I will attach that into that wire which is coming from the P terminal on the flasher unit. So that'll get spliced into there, and then of course the other two ends here, I'm just going to create and solder and attach some wires to each of these terminals. Then obviously one of those will go to the green and red wire, which is for the left-hand turn. The other one will have a wire going to the whatever colour that is, green and white. Now those two wires I'm going to pick up from the actual wiring loom which goes towards the indicator stalk. So let's just have a look on the vehicle. I might just solder on the two wires on here just so things are ready. Okay, so I've just moved the gear stick lever out the way so you can see things. Now, first thing I'll do is just disconnect this cable that goes to the indicator stick. And the other thing we need to do obviously is take out the globe. If I haven't done that already, I have, I just can't see it. That's the globe that normally gets plugged into the speedometer. What we want to do, we can splice into that cable, and we can sort of do that. I might do that sort of up over here where that splice is, just so things are sort of together. So the advantage of using these splices, it allows you to remove it again, and then pretty much it's left untouched. There's a slight cut in the wire. You might have to put some tape on there to protect it, but it's undoable. It's not permanent, like cutting one of the wires and permanently making it change. What this actual connection is for, that's another splice. So that's the wiring for the actual lights, and it gets spliced to go to the two instruments which are underneath the oil and temperature gauge. So what I need to do is add a splice into this green wire, which is obviously the other end of that, which is connected to the P terminal on the flasher unit, which is right there. So you could put the splice in there if you want, but I'll put it up here so that doesn't get touched. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is, I'll just plug in these bulbs. The colouring of the wiring, obviously don't have the original wiring, but I'll have to just remember which is which. You can always just switch around the bulbs if we needed to. But the one with the black wire, we're going to make that the left signal, turn signal. So I'll just plug them in, because in that way we get the lights, everything is in the right length and it doesn't interfere with stuff. Okay, so running off that, we've got that junction I'll put in there and the single light. So this one is the one that needs to be spliced into that wire here, which goes to the original turn signal indicator. So those two just need to be spliced. So I'll work out the length and then I will cut it a bit shorter. And then add the splice into there. Okay, so now this end of the cable, which comes off the other end of the bulbs, I said the black wire is going to be the left signal. They need to be spliced into this part of the actual loom. So you need to work out which wire is which. So there are two wires for the indicator. And I'll have to just refer back to my diagram. So wire for the left is this one here, which is green and red. Now I'm going to put a splice sort of halfway down there, and if we work out the length, we'll just put a little bit more room, just so in case there's any issues, and I'll just cut them both here. And then separate those, and then I'll just get one of those splicing connectors ready. Just open it up a bit to get that cable in. when I do these, I might sort of stagger them a bit, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so the next wire we need now is the one for the right turn, which is number 24, which is the wire which is directly opposite on that connector, and it is green with a white stripe. So we just need to do the same thing again. Just get one of the connectors. Okay, alright, so the next thing I need to do now is just plug in this indicator stalk. I'll just sort of tuck that where it needs to be. I might have to bring the whole unit closer, because the way I had it positioned is because I was just testing everything and wanted it to reach. So I'll plug that back in. I'll have to sort of just move this whole console a bit closer, because that's how things will fit. And then we can test it and see if everything works. Okay, so things are working. I'll just turn that ignition on and indicate left, indicate right. That all looks good. I had an issue where I was using this particular flasher can. I'm trying to look at what the brand on there is, but with this actual particular one, the indicator lights seem to just stay on all the time. Well, there's the brand there. It's Tridon, Tridon, electronic flasher, and that particular one, the lights just stayed on all the time. So I changed it over to this one, Pro Kit. So that's what I've got in there at the moment, and that one actually works fine. So the lights don't stay on. So these actual indicator lights stayed on for some reason, but I'm not too sure why. Alright, so I'll just demonstrate what I mean by staying on. So that's accessories, turn on that, see how they both stay on, but then indicate left, that bulb flashes, indicate that way, indicate right, left bulb flashes. So it's interesting. So they're just, by swapping over that flasher can, that makes that much of a difference. So if you're going to try doing this, I recommend getting a couple of flasher units from different suppliers. That way you've got a couple of brands to try and see which one works. The other theory is that that actual flasher unit is faulty. That's why those two lights are on. That could be the case. Alright, so what I need to do is I'll put this one that actually works in, I'll put that one back in, and then just double check to make sure all the lights are flashing. Okay, so now with that working flasher unit, I'll just turn the key one more click. Okay, there we go. So indicate left, and I'm just, yeah, the lights on the actual vehicle are working as they are expected. Okay, so that all works good. I just need to put some electrical tape around that old connector, and also on here I might put some electrical tape on those bits there because they're exposed. Okay, so I think I'll wrap up this video there, and thanks for watching.